What's up? Bradley Aiden Johnson here with a video on sodium. This is going to be quite a detailed one. It's going to get a little bit chemical. It's going to become a bit of a chemistry lesson. So if you don't want to watch the whole thing, the basic thing is don't worry about sodium. Get it out of your head. You still here? Good. Alright, those people are still here that want the chemistry lesson. Okay, sodium is been given a bad rep because of its links with hypertension. First things first, with the whole hypertension thing, they don't actually know what causes hypertension in most of the cases. They think stress related, they think genetics, they think possibly sodium in some cases, but most of them they think stress and most of them they think genetics. They don't really know. So don't worry about sodium leading to hypertension, which is high blood pressure. Don't worry about that. Also, the possibility of getting hypertension is a lot less concerning than what will definitely happen if you have a low sodium diet and you're training hard, which we'll get into in a bit. So don't worry about what could possibly happen, because if you have low sodium and you're training the way you should be, you're definitely going to have some problems. It's important to talk about potassium when you talk about sodium. Potassium is used to regulate and control skeletal and cardiovascular muscle tissues. Without adequate levels of sodium, the potassium can't get inside the muscle. See, it takes 3 times the amount of sodium to get one amount of potassium inside the cell, and without the sodium to do that, obviously the potassium can't get in, which leads to muscle weakness and listlessness, kind of fatigue, and generally being lame. Yeah, if you don't have enough sodium to make the potassium work. Also, another important thing for anyone that's doing this stuff, that act of getting that sodium from, the potassium into the cell by the sodium, it actually requires a lot of energy to do that throughout the entire body, if you imagine. And if you stop the body from doing that, your basal metabolic rate will drop because you won't be doing as much of that. All these little chemical processes that happen, just like anabolism, building muscle, all these things require energy, and that energy is what will burn fat. And if you stop the body from doing these processes, you'll need to eat even less to start burning fat. What will happen if you're working out, training hard, is you sweat and there's loads of sodium will come out of your body and excrete and drop on the floor, right? The kidneys, which are designed to control the amount of calcium, sodium, and potassium that is in the body, they excrete the amount that you take in. So it works out how much comes in and gets rid of practically the same amount. If you're sweating loads, training hard, which you will be if you're following my methods at least, you'll be losing a lot more sodium than you should be. When you get to a point where the body's really low on sodium and it detects this, it will release a stress hormone called aldosterone, saying, hey, whoa, slow all this down, kidneys, stop. You've got to stop getting rid of the sodium. The second that happens, we're going to get a little bit more chemical right now. Potassium and sodium, they're both positively charged ions, right? The way they work is they are outside and inside the cells. Sodium works outside of cells, potassium works inside of cells, and the amount on the outside will always equal the amount on the inside because of their charge, just like a magnet. If you turn it one way, it pushes it out, and because they have an equal charge, they're built to make sure the same amount of stuff basically is inside a cell as is outside a cell to make the cell work properly. Okay, let's get a little bit less complex now. Now, if you imagine you've got a certain amount of sodium leaving your body through urine, the second this aldosterone comes out and says stop that sodium leaving from urine, you've got much less sodium in your urine. When you've got less sodium in your urine, because water is negatively charged, water follows sodium. Wherever the sodium is, water goes with it. It's attracted to it. Yeah. So you'll retain more water as your body keeps that sodium that was in the kidneys that was about to leave your body. It keeps in. It means you've got more water retention. Of course, more water retention will make you look fatter, and generally other negative effects we won't get into. So keep your sodium levels in check. Because of this whole sodium-potassium problem, what people started doing, and you may have seen it, you may do it yourself, is supplement potassium, right? There's a lot of potassium. There's people selling potassium supplements. Have a potassium supplement, got to supplement it, especially like bodybuilders and like pre-show and stuff. No, don't do it, because without the sodium, the body can't even use the potassium. Also, any amount of potassium that you take in extra will just have to leave. You can't stock up on electrolytes in that way if they work together. So imagine you got low sodium, so the potassium can't get into your cells. You start sucking in all this extra potassium. The sodium still can't get it into the cells, so you just get rid of it in the exact same way. Doesn't help at all, completely useless. So just leave those things, leave them. What you do need to do is start making sure that you get enough sodium. How much sodium should you get? Get into it. You want to be getting about 2 grams of sodium, which is 2,000 milligrams, for every litre of water that you consume. Depending on how big you are, you'll have we'll get into water and how much you should. If you're really, really big, like 4 to 6 litres. If you're like average, it's like 3 litres, 2 to 3 litres. I'm like 3 to 4 litres a day. That's what I get in water. So for every litre of water, you want to get about 2 grams, which is 2,000 milligrams of sodium. That's a good level. Sources of sodium: sea salt, ketchup, mustard, pickles. Pickles are fantastic, really low in calories, but incredibly high in sodium. That's a really good way to supplement your sodium. Not table salt. I'll say this again. Not table salt. Table salt is sodium chloride, which is about 40% sodium, and the rest of that is chlorine, and sometimes they add other things like iodine in that, so that's not the thing. So get deep sea salt, that's the one you want. What will happen is, as you switch from having this low sodium diet, which is what a lot of people have been doing, to a high sodium diet, your body will start to retain water. It will get a little bit confused for a little time. Don't worry about that. You'll get a bit of water retention for a couple of weeks as your body adjusts to it, to having a decent level of sodium in your diet, because it's all about consistency. Once you change it, your body's got to readjust to how much is in it. Just go through that. I'm getting a phone call at the moment. Gonna have to ignore that. Go through that. Don't worry about it. Keep focused. Keep your sodium levels to what I told you to do, and make sure that you get enough. Hopefully this has been some help. Sorry it's a bit long, but it's a video someone asked me to do, and I made sure I did my research on it. Made sure I had all my facts straight. Made sure I had able to hit every single point. If you feel like I missed something or didn't really get into it, bradaidenjohnson@gmail.com with any queries or theories or suggestions or anything that you want to let me know, please let me know. Other than that, like the video, like my Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe.